All right, so let's get started. Okay, so first I wanted to say again, thank you all for being here. And I know a lot of you drove from Austin area, so I really, really appreciate all of you. So I'm Sarah. I founded and I'm leading Indivisible Centex. Thank you. We are a new-ish grassroots organization or grassroots movement, and our mission is to bring the community together and fight for democracy together, and make this country not an oligarchy and autocracy. So, okay, so we are nonpartisan, by the way. We work both nationally and locally. So. We've had members joining from all over this country, so it's been really exciting. We've been operable since right before the inauguration. Okay, so we're gathered here because representation is not a privilege, it's a right. Whether you voted for John Carter or not, whether you identify as Republican, Democrat, Independent, or anything else, we all deserve a representative who shows up, listens, and answers to the people of District 31. But let's be clear, this is not about politics. This is about accountability. Town halls are not radical. Answering to your constituents is not controversial. This is literally the job of a representative. And yet, John Carter refuses to hold a town hall. He refuses to stand before the people he was elected to serve and answer your questions. He has time for wealthy donors, he has time for special interests, but when it comes to us, the people who actually live and work in his district, he's nowhere to be found. So if he won't hold a town hall, we will. If he won't listen, we'll make our voices louder. If he won't answer for his votes, we'll call him out. We have powerful speakers here today who will talk about the real issues affecting our community. And throughout this event, we'll keep asking the same question. Has John Carter shown up yet? No. So he's not here, so let's get started. Okay, our first speaker is Chris Gruber. Christopher Gruber is a disabled veteran, father, husband, and an American patriot. With his 16 years of service as a defender of our Constitution and every American's liberties to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, Christopher understands the sacrifices the men and women of our armed services and their families endure for the freedoms we cherish and the safety they provide. Christopher is ready to continue that mission by running for U.S. House District 31 to represent the constituents of our district with integrity and respect. Christopher is dedicated to serving our nation and all of her people by working to restore the values this nation was founded upon. So everyone join me in welcoming Chris Gruber to the mic.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. Thank you to Indivisible Texas for hosting this event. I just want to give a round of applause to them. Thank you to the people of District 31 who have taken time out of your day to come out here today. I'm not a politician. I'm not a public speaker. I'm a veteran. Yep. Sorry about that. Thank you. So I'm just a veteran, a father, and a husband, and I believe our representatives are no longer interested in the people of this district. I believe they only represent the wishes of the ultra-wealthy. I believe our representatives are dividing Americans to distract us from the issues that affect our lives. I believe they have lost their democratic values in favor of authoritarian rules. When our Constitution is under threat, it is my duty to speak up. Sorry, I'm shaking. And I need you to speak up with me. I'm here to speak on behalf of veterans who have sacrificed so much with the promise that when we can no longer serve, that we would be taken care of. That was the deal. Cutting the Department of Veterans Affairs or Medicaid only to give tax breaks to the ultra-wealthy does not make us healthier. This is not part of the deal. We're the wealthiest nation on the planet, and yet we cut from our most vulnerable of citizens to give tax breaks to the ultra-wealthy. I believe we can and should help the most vulnerable because it's the honorable thing to do. No family in this nation should go bankrupt because someone in their family got sick. That's absurd. We all deserve that dignity and respect. And greed is the poison. Veterans and war fighters give us the opportunity here in the land of the free. Law enforcement protects their wealth from theft. Fire and rescue workers protect their wealth from disasters. Workers create and build the products that grow their wealth. Teachers give us the skills, and farmers feed us. It's time to let them know that they don't need more tax cuts. They don't need a cut, and we all can't afford the cut. We all deserve our share of the wealth that we created. We the people created wealth, and the ultra-wealthy have forgotten the deal. It's time for us to remind them of that deal, that we will not bow down to them, that without us, they have nothing. We the people will always have more power because we the people are the producers of the wealth. I'm honored to have the opportunity to speak for the people of District 31, regardless of your political affiliation. I think it's about time for someone else to represent us. This is why I'm running for John Carter's seat, because I will represent us and not make money. And I don't think like most Republicans do. I see the Republican Party as the party of Lincoln and the abolitionists, and yet we are slaves to their greed. I see us as a party of Theodore Roosevelt and the FDA, and yet we feed ourselves food that's illegal in other countries. I see us the party of John McCain, who saved the Affordable Care Act and was a war hero. This is why I'm going to reclaim the Republican seat and reinstall its values. Taking care of our citizens should not be a red versus blue issue. It's an American issue. And they're going to come up with every name. They're going to call us far left. They're going to call us radicals. But we're just normal people. And we're not going to fall for their lies. If John Carter wanted to hear from you today, he would be here. Where are you at, John? So if he's not going to come and give me your questions, and I'll take them to his office until we start getting answers. If you're a patriot or a red-blooded American like me, join this fight. United we stand, divided we fall, together we win.
All right, anybody see John? Johnny boy? I haven't seen him. Where is John? 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 All right, y'all. We're gonna keep going since he's not here. All right, our next speaker is Jennifer Lee. Y'all all may know her. Jennifer Lee is a dedicated educator, single mom, and a passionate advocate for our schools and communities. With 13 years in the classroom, Jennifer has seen firsthand the challenges our educators, students, and families face. fueling her fight for stronger public education and a better Texas. She recently stepped up to run for state representative in Texas House District 55, earning the trust and endorsements of key organizations like Teachers Unions, Planned Parenthood, Texas Votes, AFL-CIO, Equality Texas, and many more. Jennifer is committed to making a real difference for our children, teachers, and working families. So everybody welcome Jennifer Lee.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am sorry if I'm a little rusty. It's been a minute, a little bit of a minute. So my name is Jennifer Lee, and I did recently run for House District 55, and it was completely unplanned. And the reason why I ran is because I saw the crisis that we were in. I realized that our people never really had a voice in Austin, that people weren't listening to the single parents out there. People weren't listening to the teachers. People weren't listening to so many people who make this system, this district work. It wasn't functional. And so I stepped up to run because we needed somebody who would actually listen and care. I didn't see myself in any of the representatives that were down there. And so it had to be me. So I want to say a name, and some of you may recognize the name because it was recently in the news. Jocelyn Rojo Carranza. Does anybody know who that is? That is the 11-year-old who took her own life because of bullying, because of ICE. Students making fun of her, saying they're going to call ICE on her. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, that's unacceptable. But there are way too many adults who heard about that little girl's story and laughed. There are way too many adults who are saying, well, that's what we wanted him to do. That's what we voted for. Why would you vote to harm our children? That doesn't make sense to me. That's not a Democrat or a Republican thing. That is just a hateful, evil thing to vote for people who are actively attacking the most vulnerable populations around you. I'm not okay with that. That's not a Democrat or a Republican thing, y'all. That's just evil. So I don't know when it became radical to care about my neighbors. I don't know when it became radical to want children to have access to health care, women to have access to health care, veterans to have access to health care and mental health resources. I don't know when that became radical, but I guess I'm proud to be radical. So I know a lot of you have been paying attention to education legislation, and let's think about some of the things that actually matter, such as the increase in bullying. And I know that recently our community was struck with, a young girl falling victim to bullying, and her funeral was actually today. I know that a lot of people are, focused on vouchers, and we're focused on mental health resources for our students, but what are our elected officials focused on? They're focused on bathrooms. They're focused on making sure that children don't have access to those dangerous books. They're making sure that our children don't have access to things like science, history. They're focused on things that don't matter. We have told them time and time again, we want our children to be safe in school. We want our children to have a great education. We want to make sure our public schools are funded. We want to make sure our teachers can actually just have the one job and not 5 or 6 in addition to being a teacher. We want to have librarians at schools. And yet, they want to take our librarians, but I guess we don't need them if we don't have books. They want to take our money and give it to people who already have it. And then they want to laugh at the struggle that's going to happen. I just saw that picture of 3 people who will not be named, but I know you can guess who they are, smiling in the camera as the Department of Education was being dismantled. They are so excited about that money that's going to be taken from our special needs students. They are so excited about that money that's going to be taken from those Title I schools. They are so excited to have that extra money to give over to indoctrination in private schools. And let me tell you something, when you look at their financial records, which I wish more people would look at the financial records, look at their donor history. It can never be a surprise how they're going to vote for anything. Our elected officials have been bought and paid for. This is why they don't have to show up to town halls. This is why they don't entertain the questions. This is why they're not listening, because they don't have to. They've been bought and paid for. Let me tell you something. I looked at my opponents, Hillary Hickman, by the way, she's the current representative, House District 55. Please look up her financial reports. I encourage people to look at them. Why? Because hers is about 14 pages on average, maybe 12. And you can see where her votes are going to go based on how much money she's been given. There is no chance that it will veer from what she's been paid to do. When you go, look up my financial reports, and I encourage you to do the same for me. Look them up. They're about 200-something pages long. Why? Because people like you guys wanted me to represent you. Because people gave $2 here, $5 here, and it means so much to me because I know that you gave $5 because that's all you had, but that's your voice, and you wanted representation. You wanted somebody who was going to listen to you. You wanted somebody who cares about the things that you care about. So, when I think about what's going to happen in 26, what's happening with school boards, what's happening with city council, I love that we're all here and we're all angry and we're all ready to just, not storm anything, but we are ready to take action. We are ready to move and be mobilized. But remember that in 26, we've got Greg Abbott, Kent Paxton, Dan Patrick. They are on the ballot. We've got a lot of, all the representatives are on the ballot. And we need to remember that in 26. Keep this energy. Keep these conversations going. Stay engaged. Because as much as I love a rally, I love a protest, and you can Google me and find out how much I love both of those things. It frustrates those of us who have run and intend to run again. It's frustrating when that momentum dies and everyone kind of forgets how mad we were at one point. So we need you to keep the fire going. Hold their feet to the fire, keep them accountable, but we also need you to show up in a big way, regardless of what party you're with. Show up in a big way and vote for democracy in 26. Thank you.
All right, is John here yet? Where is John? All right, so our next speaker is another local celebrity, Stuart Whitlow. Is someone who knows John Carter, not just as a politician, but from before his time in Congress. Stuart Whitlow grew up in Round Rock, attending public schools when it was still a small town. He's known John Carter since he was 14 and later practiced law with him when Carter was a judge in Williamson County. In 2024, Stuart took his fight for democracy even further, running against John Carter after winning the Democratic primary decisively. He ran because he saw firsthand how Carter transformed into a MAGA congressman, prioritizing Trump's agenda over the needs of the people in District 31. Today, he's here to talk about what real representation should look like and why we must hold our leaders accountable. So please welcome me and join me in welcoming Stuart Whitlow.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for being here. This is a good crowd. Appreciate y'all standing up for your community, for our country, for our state. Thank you for those kind words about me that Sarah just said. I just came from a Tesla protest at a Tesla dealership there on the Williamson County, Travis County line. And we had hundreds of people out there again this week. We had it last week. We had it this week. We're going to have it again every Saturday from 10 to 12. So if you're so moved, or maybe just, I don't know if there's probably one up here somewhere in Bell County, get after them. But Musk it's amazing to me how he seems so scared. He had that big deal with Trump where they got on the White House lawn, probably totally illegal, and tried to sell Tesla cars. I don't know if y'all saw that or not, but that was really ridiculous. And then the Commerce Secretary recently said, please buy Tesla stock. I'm amazed at this, that he's feeling the heat. So let's keep it on. He doesn't like being the most despised person in the world, but he's working hard to get there. But anyway, I've had a good life. I've been through the ups and downs like most of us had. But one thing after all these years that I really come to believe, of course, is I love this country. I love this state. I love our communities. And one thing that I love government of the people, by the people, and for the people. If you get a chance, go back and look at that Gettysburg Address. When Lincoln traveled to Gettysburg after that horrible battle, it was horrible, except it's where the Union turned the tide to ending slavery. And it was great. That great first line say, "We are a nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all people are created equal." And there you go. I mean, you can't beat it. I read it last night again, and I heavily recommend it. But of course, Lincoln said, "Well, we can never have the courage or the sacrifice that those people gave at Gettysburg to save this country and to save our nation. But we can still stand up and do our share. And we can really never probably have the courage, and we're going to be asked to give the sacrifice to the people in World War II gave, to stop Hitler, to stop the Nazis, to stop Mussolini, the whole bit. And unfortunately, it looks like we're about ready to do it again. And hopefully it won't be in the battlefield, but it'll be in the political wars. And I just encourage all of you to do it. And I just want to say, sometimes people I've talked to are a little bit pessimistic. I hope you're not. But what I say to them is, well, we had the battle to give women the right to vote. We had the battle for labor rights. We had the battle for civil rights, the battle for environmental rights, gay rights, then the women's rights movement, and they all had their dark moments. But guess what happened? Who won all those battles? We won every damn one of them. And we're gonna win this. I don't have any doubt about it. So I encourage you all to get out. Of course, John Carter, Trump, and them, they're doing their best to try to tear down everything. Well, John's not really doing much. He's just not saying anything, kind of as usual. But nevertheless, we know what Trump and other speakers have said it. From USAID, which of course could end up killing millions of people in Africa, from tearing that down, the U.S. Department of Education, which is just ridiculous in terms of what they're doing to that agency. It just goes on and on. And the vets, the VA, what they're doing to the VA has just been despicable. So it's a hideous and shameful course that they've taken. But here's what I would, in closing, here's what I would kind of recommend. Everybody always says, what do you think we should do? Well, I think one thing, get after those Tesla dealerships. and that's one. Second, we all need to back up this effort to fight school vouchers that have already been talked about. Most of us were up there. We gave testimony before the Public Education Committee in the House of Representatives. They didn't get to us until 2:30 or 3:30 in the morning, and I think that is just part of their plan. Let's make it late and make it hard. These people maybe will go home and not stay around to testify. But I'm too stubborn, and so are my friends up here. We're all too stubborn, and we stayed until the very last, and we gave our talks. So I would ask you to do that if you can make it to the legislature, if you can fight for the various causes that we believe in, and especially that school vouchers. Of course, our great Representative James Tallarico, if you don't know him or not heard of him, doing a tremendous job up there, fighting very hard. He can use all the support he can get because he is along with Gina Hinojosa, John Busey out of Cedar Park. They're working extremely hard on that. Anyway, we need to get together. We have formed a resistance movement in Austin, and it's part of actionnetwork.org. That goes to Indivisible Austin. Now there's Indivisible Centex. But we need to make sure we coordinate all our efforts. So feel free to contact. I'm at stuartwhitlowlaw.com. Excuse me, stuartwhitlowlaw@yahoo.com. I have that old email address, but that shouldn't surprise you. But send me an email, stuartwhitlowlaw@yahoo.com. actionnetwork.org. Let's stay in touch. We'll stay in touch with these folks from Indivisible Centex. Let's all work together. Divided, we fall. United, we stand.
All right, is John here yet? Here's John. Here. Okay, before our next speaker comes up, we are going to have a Q&A after our next speaker, so if anybody would like to ask John Carter a question, you can come up here to the mic if you'd like and stand in line to ask your question. We also have Stacy take your question on paper and you can ask. We also have the Google Forms that you can submit a question as well. If you'd like to ask a question on the mic, please come up and stand in line, and I'll introduce our next speaker. Our next speaker is someone who understands the power of civic engagement and the importance of holding our leaders accountable. Dawn Richardson is a dedicated advocate. She's an Army brat and an Army wife. She's a 39-year retired educator who has worked tirelessly to ensure our voices are heard. She ran for House Rep in District 54 in November and was endorsed by the Teachers Union, Texas Progressive Caucus, AFCLO, Mothers Against Greg Abbott, Beto for Texas, and Gruber Rising Texas. So please join me in welcoming Dawn Richardson.
Good afternoon. First of all, this gives me hope. We are organizing and we are letting folks know that we care and that we are not going to stand what's going on. For example, one of the things that I ran on were veterans benefits. Do you know right now they're trying to get the disabled veterans tax relief? You know how the disabled veterans have that 100% disability and they don't pay property taxes? Guess who picks up most of that? Your local taxes, your county taxes. The state pays less than 20% of that. So now all of a sudden they want to put more money into it. It's a state mandate. Why aren't they paying the entire thing? Just like they tout that they're doing these mental health services. Well, they piloted a program in San Antonio. We got Fort Cavazos here, which is the largest base in Texas, and yet we don't have that program here. Why not? Why not? Why are we going around saying we're doing something and we're not? We need to force that. And now we're talking about education. They are attacking education. We got two West Texas billionaires, Ferris Wilkes and Tim Dunn, and Jim Yaz out of Pennsylvania. They are the ones funding the politicians, funding Abbott to push this voucher program. Now let's not talk about that voucher program. It seems to me, which is great, those of us who are here understand. They want to give $11,000 in a voucher. But guess what? It doesn't have a cap. So if the bottom ring doesn't take them, it goes to the next ring and to the next one. And guess who ends up with the money? Millionaires. People who don't need them. And I want to tell you, I was down at the Capitol when we did the testifying. And I can't tell you how many folks said, why are you even including us? We don't need that money. Why are they doing this? Because Tim Dunn, and Ferris Wheels wants to privatize public education. Let us call it what it is. This is one of the first steps to doing that. If we weaken our public school system enough, we can get you guys to be discouraged and say, yeah, let's get rid of it. That is the goal. That is the goal. They keep saying that it's coming out of two different pots. Texas funds by attendance. So if a kid leaves, that's $7,000 leaves too. So what does that do? It leads to more overcrowding, more problems. Like they came up with that safety mandate that they had to have a policeman on every campus. But did the state pay for it? So do you know that every district in Bell County is working with a deficit? Every single one. Saline has a $15.5 million deficit budget right now. And you think that our kids are not getting service now? Wait, but I want you to tell you they are going to try to fool you with this House Bill 2, where they're claiming that they're giving more money to the public schools and we're trying. Well, it's $8 billion, but that's for 5.5 million students. That is less than $2,000 per kid, which means we still won't be funded to where they're funding the vouchers. Is that right? So we need you to raise your voices. Please, Dr. Buckley, our representative, is the author of the voucher bill. Let's put it out there. He himself has stated that when his children were small, him and his wife made the decision to take their kids out of the district they lived in and move to Pauline, put their kids in Pauline schools. Every kid should have that choice, and it won't happen until we get funded. It won't happen until we get the funding that we need. So when we say raise your voice, let me hear you say no voucher. No voucher. Let me hear you say no voucher. No voucher. Because our kids are important. So we need to raise our voices. We need to make sure that we are letting those folks down there know. Flood their emails. Flood them with calls. They have to log all of it. So they can't get away from it. And let them know that you need to come and talk to us. This is what we are here for. You were elected to represent us. And you are not doing that. You are not doing that. You are representing your own interests. When Abbott didn't get his way, he primaried people, didn't he? So was that about us? Did that even remotely be about us? So it is now time. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, it is time to wake up, because I know they keep telling you that, to wake up and do this. Because they say parental choice is the reason we want vouchers. Then how come parents don't have a choice to make medical decisions for their children? When they say, oh, parents know what's best, you look at them and say, then why do parents know best when it comes to medical decisions for their children? See, they want to fool us with those flowery words, but we got to look past that and see what's actually happening. And what's happening is a hostile takeover. It is a hostile takeover. And we need to stop it and let them know that we know what you are trying to do. And we won't let you do that. And so I hope, this gives me hope. When I went down and saw the testimony, that gave me hope. Because we need to let them know we are not going to take it anymore.
All right. Anybody see John Carter? Since John still hasn't shown up, I guess we'll have to settle for this. calling on Johnny Boy. There he is. There's John. Since he won't answer our questions, let's go ahead and list a few things we would have asked him about. Why did he vote for the budget resolution that will result in Medicaid and Medicare cuts? Why does he support school voucher programs that take funding away from our public schools? Why did he vote against improving VA health care and benefits for those who served our country? Why does he back policies that make it harder for Texans to vote? And why does he take big donations from special interests and vote in ways that benefit them instead of us? These are just a few of the issues that impact all of us, Republicans, Democrats, and independents alike. But instead of facing us and answering for his record, John Carter is missing. Now we're going to open the floor for questions that John Carter should be here to answer. Since he's not, we'll ask them anyway, because these issues matter whether he chooses to listen or not. We have a list of pre-submitted questions, but if you have something you'd like to ask, you can stand in line, and we'll do our best to get to as many as possible. In addition, Bell County Democratic Women is over here, and they are registering people to vote. So please, if you're not registered to vote, please go over there and register now.
I'm starting the line.
You're starting the line?
Yep.
All right, we'll have our speakers come down and we'll ask a question. All right, sir, what's your name?
My name is Indivisible Centex.
That's it. Okay, thank you. My name is Emmanuel Perez. I'm the son of a teacher. I've lived here most of my life. And all I've seen from Representative Carter is inaction, failure, nothing but this. Why does he continue to prolong our suffering, to neglect the duties of his elected office? If he's just going to continue this trend, he needs to resign so we can actually get a representative to do their damn job. Our people's needs are not being met, and this no-talent ass clown is just sitting there doing nothing. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of our rights being taken away. I'm tired of our protections being taken away, of our agencies, our institutions, our jobs. We have no protections anymore. Does he remember what happened? How we got labor unions? Does he remember what the alternative was? Let history remind him, lest it repeat itself.
Thank you for those comments. I totally agree. I think one thing, we'll see if things don't change here. If some of the MAGA group and some of the people that are kind of the non-MAGA people that voted for Carter see what's going on and actually change their viewpoints and are willing to vote, because in the last election they voted, so many of them just went out and voted straight Republican, despite what they should have seen coming. We warned them. They didn't listen. And now we've got what we've got. Thank you very much.
Testing.
Hi everyone, I'm so glad to see you all here. My name is Christine Bowman. I live in, I'm a precinct chair for Burnett County Democrat Party. I am here because we are united. I have a question for John Carter.
Hi, I'm Sharon Cummings. I'm from Round Rock, Texas, and a precinct chair in Williamson County. My question for John Carter and all the Republicans who wrap themselves in the flag in the Bible. what are you doing about the hungry when you cut Medicaid? When you cut food stamps. What do you do? Jesus said to feed the hungry. He said we're supposed to take care of those that are vulnerable. And Elon Musk is going around and slicing our government to pieces so Putin can take it. And he's not taking care of the people. We had a really great system. I used to work for the federal government. I was a contracting officer in Hawaii and in California. And those people take ethics training at least once a year and more often than that. We had to go there repeatedly to learn what's right, what's wrong, and what our duty was. And he just cut their jobs, and then who suffers? It's a great system that we had, and it was effective. So we got to take care of the people that are sick. Jesus healed them. So that's Medicare, Medicaid. And anybody who says that the Republican Party is for law and order has got to go really get their head examined, because it's a felon and they don't care about what the courts say. So that's where I am, Mr. Carter. You're not standing up for us. Why?
While she's getting that microphone together, if those of you who want to see with your school district with how it would be affected by the vouchers, go to don'tdefundmyschool.com. Don'tdefundmyschool.com. You type in your school district and you'll see just how much money will be lost to vouchers.
Well, I have a question for John Carter. How are you going to protect Social Security? Trump and Musk are causing the system to collapse by firing 50% of the workforce, by eliminating the phone system, forcing millions of elderly and disabled to travel to reduce number of offices. The truth is the Social Security system efficiently operates at 1% of cost. Most businesses operate at 15% or more. There is no rampant fraud and theft as they claim. Trump and Musk are wrecking it so they can rob it. I am 74 years old, and I was 16 years old when I had my first job, and I paid into the Social Security system then and throughout my lifetime through many jobs. That money is mine. Why are you letting them steal it from us? Musk says it's a Ponzi scheme. But the fact is that there's $7.2 trillion that has been set in reserve. So Congressman Carter, stop the steal of our benefits.
All right, real quick, to that end, this is a perfect opportunity for you to offer those rides to those senior citizens in the Social Security office and have a conversation about why you have to drive them up there. Remind them, this is why you have to come up here. This is why you can't do it over the phone anymore. These are the people who made that decision. These are the people who made your life harder. Have those conversations with grandma as you're driving her to the Social Security office so that she can make those claims, so that she can do her business. Let them know this is an opportunity to have a conversation and hopefully change some hearts and some minds.
I have one more thing I'd like to bring to Carter's attention. I have a nephew who is a pediatrician who worked in South Africa and Tanzania and ended up coming back here to the University of Wisconsin. He worked with children with AIDS, and he has said that when Trump and Musk canceled U.S. aid, children died. They died. People with AIDS didn't get their medication. They are dying. The richest man in the world is stealing from and killing children. What is wrong with this?
Hey y'all, my name is Stacy. I actually just moved to Belton about a year ago, but my husband's family has been here working as small business owners for dozens of years, and I'm a former public school teacher. I've seen firsthand how crucial public education is for every single child, regardless of their ability or background. I've watched students thrive. I taught special education classes, and when you give those kids the right resources, you see that light turn on. Sometimes it takes years, but you do not stop trying. I believe my taxes should be going to support public schools, should be going to support all students having a fair shot at success. With the president's recent order to dismantle the Department of Education, I'm deeply concerned about what this means for federal support of public education. So, Mr. Carter, wherever you are, do you believe that equitably funding children's education is radical? Is giving kids free lunch and providing bonuses for teachers to offer extra tutoring after school radical? Is art class or computer class too radical? If we cut funding, these classes will grow. Bare bones, all of the bare bones programs will be left. Curriculum will be reviewed less often. Gifted programs, language programs, agriculture programs, and who knows what else, gone. And I don't know about y'all, but those are the things my taxes are supposed to be paying for. So I asked John Carter, who is not here today, who does not have a town hall planned, what will you do to ensure that funding for public schools remains strong and equitable? And how will you work to limit presidential power to make sure decisions like this don't continue to bypass Congress? What powers are you going to hold on to? I was in the crowd earlier collecting questions, and I had another one that kept popping up, so I wanted to make sure to ask that one too. This is from someone in the crowd, John. How do you plan to protect our Social Security and our VA hospital in Bell County and the rest of the United States?
How's it going? I'm Seth. I'm a father of 2 special needs kids. Other than that, not really anybody important. Okay. So they keep trying to sell us on this idea that this is all good for the economy. But we make the economy sound too complicated. The economy is a distribution system. That's the point. It is the means by which we distribute goods and services throughout our economy. So, if we are all working really hard, we're making enough food for everybody, we're making enough houses for everybody, we have enough doctors to take care of everybody, and people are not getting medical care, or the food that they need, or they can't afford their rent, then our economy is broke. It is not delivering the goods and the services to the people who are putting in the effort to create those goods and services. So I really just want to know, is he dumb or is he cool?
I'm going to take that one on. He's through. Okay, they are all through. Because right now, they're only thinking about themselves. They're not thinking about us. They just want us to be compliant enough just to work, to make them money. And then when they're done with us, they just want to cast us to the side. And see what they're banking on is that we fight each other instead of coming after them. Okay? Did you see what Huss wrote? Oh, I thought the Democrats were the party of the empathy, and why are they doing this to me? Meanwhile, he said, 2 weeks ago, that empathy was weakness. So make up your mind. You don't want to have empathy, but you want us to have empathy for you. That's not how this works. Okay, when they talk about make America great again, when they talk about a time where people or middle class could afford houses and all of that good stuff, they forget that the rich were paying almost 70% in taxes. Okay, so every time they come down in taxes, who gets to pick it up? Who gets to pick it up? And so now they're trying to cut services and benefits to us. And they're going to make it worse because, ladies, how many of you took your husband's last name? Just so you know, if that same act passes, you lose the right to vote. Because now you got to go back and prove who you are, because your name is different than what's on your birth certificate. They are trying to control us. This is what this is all about. They're trying to make us compliant. Take away education, you take away an educated electorate, we're going to fall for whatever you tell us. So yeah, they know what they're doing. It's cruel, it's inhumane, and it needs to stop.
Hi, my name is Dan, and I'm a public servant here in Texas. Just this week, Representative Tran and Senator Duckworth filed a bill that a companion bill in the Senate, H.R. 1637, the Protect Veteran Jobs Act. And I would like to read a relevant portion of the act here today, and then I will ask my question of John Carter. Section 2, subsection A says, reinstatement. Any individual who is a veteran and who was involuntarily removed or otherwise dismissed without cause from a civil service position during the period beginning January 20th, 2025 and ending on the date of the enactment of this bill shall be eligible for reinstatement to such position or any other civil service position they are qualified. And the bill goes on to state the federal government and the agencies must issue a report every 3 months detailing what veterans they have fired and why. This bill would help protect the federal jobs of our veterans who have made the ultimate sacrifice for all of us. As of this morning, this bill has 85 co-sponsors, and not a single one of them is a Republican. So my question to Representative Carter is this: will you have the courage to reach your hand across the aisle and co-sponsor this bill and vote yes on it, or will you stand aside while Elon Musk and Doge and this president trample all over the lives of our veterans? Our veterans give up so much for every single one of us, and many of them volunteer to go back into the federal workforce because that is what they do. That's how they continue protecting us. This should not be a partisan issue. Our veterans deserve better.
So I think we all know what John's answer to that is. Crickets. I know my answer, and we need to be taking care of our veterans, for sure. And I want to talk about the school vouchers and education, and I'll probably get labeled a conspiracy theorist for this one, but they're just trying to make us uneducated. Simple as that. Like, just read between the lines. That's our investment into our future so that they can take care of us when we're old. We're not giving the money, the wealth, where it belongs. To our veterans, to our seniors, to our children. It shouldn't be an issue to give kids school lunches. Like, they need to eat. So, these are not hard or complicated issues. But I know how I would vote on stuff like this. Not like that.
All right, so my family's history goes all the way back to the American Revolution. Every major conflict that our country has been in, my family has served. In World War II, one of my grandfathers was serving in the Pacific, and my other grandfather landed on the beaches of Normandy on the third day. So while he wasn't in the middle of the onslaught, he did see some of the ugliest fighting in France that you would ever see in your lifetime. Currently, my cousin is flying F-15 Strike Eagles. He's been doing this for 20 years. I served in the Marine Corps from 88 to 94. This is not the government. This is not my president. I didn't take an oath to serve a king. What I want to know Let me back up 1 second. We have abandoned our allies. We have abandoned Ukraine when we said, Marco Rubio in 1994, that if they gave up the world's third largest nuclear arsenal, that we would support them against Russian aggression. So my question for you, John Carter, since when do Russian interest trump American interest?
My name is Michaela Savick. I'm from Georgetown. In 2024, the Trevor Project reported a 72 increased transgender suicide rate from children. Trump's 47 calls for an eradication of woke gender ideology. This year, Representative Oliverson to the Texas Congress proposed House Bill 3917, which calls for making it a felony to identify yourself to your employer as a different gender than what's on your birth certificate. John Carter, if you preach supporting children, protecting children, explain why there is a 40% national suicide rate amongst transgender children. What will you do to help us?
And John Carter, make sure that you get the health care of those children back in the hands of their parents. Health care of those children should be in the hands of their parents. Just like y'all keep saying education should be in the hands of the parents. Then let those parents take care of their children.
Real quick on that, I thought that the Republicans' platform was small government, so I don't understand why we need to get into doctors' offices or in people's bedrooms or worried about who they love. It's not their business. Mind your own business.
Privacy. You don't hear enough about privacy. They talk about women's rights, which I am totally for, but they need to put privacy at the top. It's none of your damn business. You got it? None of your damn business. Like Governor Walz said. Anyway, I want everybody to sing along with me. We're not gonna take it. We're gonna take it. No, we ain't gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. Yeah, hell no. We're not stupid thanks to public schools. Speak up. Sound off. Show up. Do one little thing. We're waiting on somebody else to tell you what to do. Make a bunch of little blue dots and pass them out. Whatever you can think of. I love you all.
My name is Renette, and I'm from Hutto, Texas. I am a retired educator, and it's on a morning, a day that I wake up and I look at television and I see something stupid, another stupid thing that has happened up there in Washington with the president and with Musk and Doge and all of that. And every single solitary day, Congressman, I get sick and tired of it. Sick and tired of it. I have called your office. I've called the senator's office. I have written you. I have talked to people in your local office. I'm tired of it. I am. And I think everybody here and the people in the country are tired of it. Okay? And what I want to know, because there's so many things that I'm tired of, I can't name all of them, but what I'm going to say is this. This is what I've been saying to you when I call you and when I've written you. I'd like to know if there is one thing, just one thing, that you disagree with that Trump and Musk have done. One thing, just one thing. And if there's one, I don't think you disagree with anything because we haven't heard from you, so we don't know. But if there's one thing that you disagree with that he is or they are doing, what have you done about it? Have you said anything? Did you write him? Did you do something we just don't know anything about? I'd like to know what it is because I don't think you're doing anything. I think that you are afraid of being primary. I think that's, and I see people here who are ready to do it for you, okay? So, if you don't want, if you are afraid to do this job, you're afraid to stand up because they're going to threaten you with being primary or do other things which are horrible that they've done to judges and other people, then maybe you need to just step down. Come on home, you had a job before. Come on, it's time for you to retire. Come on and let somebody else do it. You're tired. You're afraid. You don't want to speak up. You just sit up there and taking our money. And I'm sick of it. And that's what I would say to you. And that's what I've been saying to you. Bring your butt home.
Hello, can you hear me? No? Oh, okay, how about that? Okay, all right. I'm David Dolmelson. I recently made a request to Representative Carter's office in Edinburgh. We're in the representative from Representative Carter here. Okay, I'll have to ask my question. First of all, you all know that if you go to Carter's website, there's a little button that says services. If you punch that button, you'll get a list of things, including casework request. So I submitted a casework request and haven't. Here's why I was concerned and why I wanted Representative Carter to help me with. I filed 60 income tax returns. I was a federal employee, since 22 years. I've paid into Medicare for 60 years. I've used Medicare in there. So the bottom line is, the government knows all about me, about what I've been doing. What my finances are, what I've reasoned, what I think. I wanted Representative Carter to find out what about Elon Musk and his own guys have found out about me, where that information is now, what they're planning on doing with it. So far, I haven't heard anything. If you got a suspicious mind about me, we all have lots of things to be used against us. For instance, I was a federal employee. Most people think that all of my career was broad-based abuse because I was a federal employee. I've made contributions on terms of making various organizations like the ACLU and Lutheran Disaster Relief, Deputies Against You. We got a president and the administration spends like and looking for ways to keep people quiet. What I wanted from Governor or Representative Carter is what's happening with my information and how is it going to protect me from the federal government. I haven't heard the answers.
Hello, my name is Rochelle. I'm a mother of 2 special needs children, and I was undiagnosed special needs myself. I want to draw attention to the fact that we have a long history of persecuting people with disabilities and people who don't fit a stereotypical norm that they think is the idea of perfection. So I want to know what happened to our freedom. Because we're supposed to be free to be ourselves and to support what we support. So, where's our freedom?
Really quick, I want to remind everybody that with the Department of Education being dismantled, one of the things that's going to happen is that special education will now fall under Health and Human Services. And we all know who's in charge of Health and Human Services, right? The man who said that we should round up all the children with ADHD and send them to a concentration camp. So remember that. Think about that. That's what's going to happen, and that's why it matters when we talk about the Department of Education is being dismantled, and also pay attention to the superintendents and officials around here who are excited about this happening.
Hi, I'm David. I teach history at a local university about 2 blocks from here. Okay. Yeah, that sounds better. Okay, thank you. I teach history here locally, and like many of you, am upset at the attempts to control the curriculum, particularly in the liberal arts, right? And even more particularly in race relations, right? Our history is vast, it's painful, it's glorious, it's the gray area where all of us need to consider and learn about our past, right? This guy in our corner here, we tried to remove it a few years ago. Hopefully, we will continue to work on that process. Or if we're going to keep them, there are plenty of significant African Americans in this county that deserve a statue on that point. The other thing that I would like to ask the Honorable John Carter is more in foreign relations. We have not had 2 major powers go to war since World War II. NATO, the UN, the CETO have been extremely successful with what they have tried to do. We've had small wars, obviously, but nothing to the extent that the great generation had to face. All right? Why on earth are we tearing that down? That's my central question. Why are we redefining an international order that has been so successful?
So if I can just speak to that real quick, we promised Ukraine that we would be helping them, and it seems that the other side here has forgotten history, and every time the authoritarian rule tries to take over, they always fail. They're trying to erase our history. I know right now, I always see the Army Times. They took down the Enola Gay because it's got the word gay in it. It's ridiculous. Yes, all of those. They think that they can rewrite history. They can't. They know they can't. But they're going to try anyway, because those that don't know history are doomed to repeat it. And they're trying like 1939 Germany, and it's going to fail, just like it fails every time.
My name is Will. I'm a public servant, and I'm married to a teacher. And in case anybody doesn't know, it's really difficult for a lot of public service employees to speak for ourselves. In fact, we're encouraged very strongly not to do so, even in our private lives, on social media, or in public. And so know that the voices of a crowd of other everyone who's not a public servant are incredibly important. In Texas, we have over 1.5 million public servants and about 7.5 million people that are employed in the private sector. So it's a significant portion of the population that go unheard from on a lot of issues publicly. As a wildlife biologist, I wanted to point out that in the United States, our wealth has always been and always will be, if we have anything to say about it, in our natural resources, in our public lands especially. And those things are under attack very clearly. And public servants that protect those things and advocate for their correct management are under attack as well. So, please be informed about those issues, but not just on the national level. Bills were filed for a Texas Doge effort as well, and that is standing to affect Texas state agencies. Those impacts are trickling down from the national level to the state level, and before we know it, they'll be hitting the local level as well. So even if it hasn't been you yet, it will be you soon. So keep your eye out for those things. And I would ask the judge what he plans to do to protect our public lands and our natural resources, and how he's going to prevent those from falling into private hands and abused for private profit.
First of all, I want to say thank you for your service. And one of the things that I, as a retired educator, am a part of also the NEA and TSDA, and we fought for years to get rid of the WEP and the GPO that actually took money from you if you retired in the state of Texas in a system that wasn't covered by Social Security, even if you had paid into it somewhere else. So we just got that repealed. So what does that tell you? Sometimes these fights take a while, but that doesn't mean you give up. And he's right about this Doge thing. That right now there's a bill to get rid of fish and wildlife. Okay? In this state. Again, this is why they want to break down education. Because if you're uneducated, they can feed you whatever they want to. So we have to keep up with what's going on, speak up and speak out.
So I just wanted to say real quick about the what are you going to tell all the avid hunters, John, when you take all of our public lands away?
All right, so I have lots of questions. I won't come up here again, I promise. But just the news today is that Trump had signed an executive order against Paul Weiss. Those of you who are not familiar with this, that was a law firm that was prosecuting some of Trump's legal situations that were previously going before. So he signs an executive order basically making it so that they're unable to do business. So what do? They send an executive to the White House, and behind closed doors, they make an agreement that the Paul Weiss legal will provide $40 million in legal proceedings for this White House, and they will support this White House's anti-DEI in exchange for rescinding that executive order. So if you don't see the corruption here, that is blatant extortion. If you get pulled over by a police officer, if they have an illegal speed trap set up and you get pulled over and you just hand that police officer $200, you just committed bribery, and if that police officer accepts it, he's accepted a bribe. Both of them should be going to jail. So I want to know from you, John Carter, why are you not impeaching President Trump for obvious and blatant extortion?
I'll just say that I have been a lawyer for quite a while, 35 years, and I was very disgusted by that Paul Weiss situation. I'm hoping that there are lawyers that will stand up and do the right thing. There already are. A group called Democracy Forward challenges everything that they do, everything that Trump does. They file lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit up there in D.C., a great organization. The lawyers of this country have got to come together, and a huge suit should be filed against John Carter. John Carter. But also Trump must the whole thing over what they're trying to do to the law firms. And the law firms have to get some guts and stand up and do the right thing. I just want to say that just real quickly, this is Lincoln would be proud. This is what democracy is all about. Not that we're sitting here talking, but that you all are sitting here talking, and I greatly appreciate it. And I'll say one last thing. These guys are a bunch of bozos, thank God. And they do a bunch of stupid things every day. And by God, they are opening the door for us to run them off and get rid of them. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kimberly. And John, I met you when I was a teenager. Let me shake your hand. You don't want to shake my hand? Well, let me tell you about what happened during that time from when I was a teenager to now when I'm 60-something. I went to all those rallies with my aunt because you held the Bible as she was sworn in for district clerk at Williamson County. Yes, I did. I watched you, and I watched you give her a little kiss on the lips when she was through. And I watched my grandmother come unglued. And I remember so many things that you did and all those Republican things that I went to as a young girl. And, coming from a family that didn't do education, I kind of looked around and I thought, maybe I should go to college. So I did. I was the first one from my family on either side to go to college. And do you know, John, what I decided to be when I grew up? A school teacher. And I taught since 1985. And in 1985, things were different in school. We had half-day and full-day kindergarten. And do you know how we decided whether the kids could be in half-day kindergarten or full-day kindergarten? Now, that was in 1985. We looked at their parents' income, and we decided, okay, you go to this one, and you go to this one. Well, I taught the kids that were on free and reduced lunch for 10 years before we started integrating them into each other's classrooms. That's not that long ago, is it, John? It's not. Friends, it's not. That was going on in Texas, here in Williamson County. You know, what else I learned is what one of the other ladies here who's a teacher, she said this. She said, when you're retired, you have no Social Security. And that's true, because guess what? I just retired a couple of years ago, and I don't have Social Security. And I am missing some of those things too, but just the way it went, we've got to take care of our kids, and we've got to take care of our teachers and our educators. Yeah, come on, I kept saying. And so here's my question to you, John. Do you want all of those children in those classrooms this fall to not have any food because you and your cronies have decided to stop free lunch for the kids? Is that what you want? Is that going to make them learn when they're hungry? I'm going to give you a hoot. No.
Before you talk real quick, I just, we have a special guest. State Representative Vicki Goodwin is here, and she'd like to say a little something.
Hello, Milton. It is so good to be here today. Thank you for coming out, and thank you for allowing me just a moment to speak. So my congressman is Lloyd Doggett. Yay! There are some good ones up there, but unfortunately, there's a lot of those who are not willing to meet with their own constituents. You know, I'm in the Capitol here in Texas. I'm in my 4th term. We have more people coming to the Capitol every day. I think there were 10 times more moms there in the Capitol than I've ever seen before. And then this last week, we had Planned Parenthood in the Capitol. Again, 10 times as many as I have ever seen in the Capitol. People are fed up, and people want their voices to be heard. And it is so very important that people do show up to the Capitol. They do email their representatives. They do call, do all the things. You know, it's so important that you show up, that you speak up, and that you amplify. So often we hear that Democrats don't know how to message, but part of the problem is it's hard to break through what I call the Fox fog. Y'all know all these people who watch Fox and they get these messages. So we need your help to spread our message that we support our public schools, our message that we support our state and federal workers, our message that people need health care, a good education, good jobs. So DOGE is not just working at the federal level. We now have a DOGE committee in the Texas legislature. Boo. And one of the agencies they are trying to get rid of is the Texas Parks and Wildlife. Why would we get rid of Texas Parks and Wildlife? Well, I don't know. You think about it, follow the money. That's what I always say, follow the money. There's minerals that some folks might want. Anyway, I just want to say thank you for coming together. Keep doing it. Keep showing up. Like I said, use your voice and amplify those of us that are on your side, that are working to make the state and the nation a better place. Thank you.
I grew up here in Central Texas. My great-grandparents came here from Czechoslovakia and Poland to give us a better life. And I'll be damned if my family's been here just a few generations only to lose it to the likes of Trump and Musk. He is not for us. He is not for our country. He is just for himself. How much money is enough? And Mr. Carter, I saw you at a family funeral yesterday. Why weren't you here today? You say this is all about propaganda? We're not propaganda, we're real people. And it offends me when people attack immigrants that are coming here for a better life. We all want to help our kids to have a better life. There are a bunch of people in my family, and I come from a big family. There are a bunch of teachers that believe in education for their kids, and we're going to try to do away with education. I did family history on both sides of my family. When I retired, my husband and I were both retired state workers. And what this family history tells me is if you don't learn from the past, we're going to repeat it in the future. So we better wake up, tell our kids our stories, and tell them why it's important to retain our democracy and get out and vote. Please, spread the word. We're not going to take this. Thank you.
My name is Jennifer. I told you I was going to have a problem. My name is Jennifer, and I have been a paraprofessional in a public school district for the last 5 years. It has been my dream ever since I was a little girl. I remember telling my kindergarten principal that I wanted to be a teacher when I grew up. I just thought they were, the heroes of the U.S., right? So obviously everybody here, I'm gonna have to pull the mic away from my face. Everybody here knows that teachers are severely underpaid, but I don't think you guys realize just how underpaid teachers are. So I'm gonna give you my very first year at a public school district as a single mother. I was making $17,400 a year. A year. That is below poverty line. And our congressmen, our representatives voted for that. Abbott has not given teachers raises in 6 years. Texas is sitting on an $8 billion surplus right now that is supposed to go to education. Where is that money? Okay? So on that note, remind you, I was making $17,000 a year as a single mother. I was buying my own pencils for my classroom. I was buying my own erasers for my classroom. I was buying my own, I'm shaking because I'm so mad. I was buying my own notebooks for my classroom because we didn't have the budget. We didn't have the budget for our children, okay? 5 years later, going back a bit. I was on food stamps in WIC as a single mother working for our public school district, which is ridiculous. A public servant, nobody should have to be on food stamps in WIC, but a public servant that is being paid should not ever have to be on food stamps in WIC. They just shouldn't, And now those are getting cut. On a different note, I am the I in DEI. I'm an inclusion aide. I work very, very closely every day with SPED students. Okay? My job is on the line now because of DEI cuts. My job that I'm already not getting paid enough. So 5 years later, I'm only making $24,000. That was on my W-2 last year, was $24,000 for an entire year. So, let me ask, is that enough to live on? No. And this was before groceries spiked. This was before medication spiked. This was before healthcare spiked. So let me ask Representative, John Carter over here, why are we not funding education? And why are you wanting to defund the education that's already not funded?
I'm so glad you brought that up. Texas is 42nd in the nation. 42nd in the nation for funding our public school systems. We are 4,000 below the national average per student. We are 9,000 below the national average for teacher pay. So yes, they're touting House Bill 2, but trust me, it is not going to close the gap. It is just a pacifier, and we need a whole lot more. We need to stop those vouchers and put that money over here into public education.
Hello all, I'm Evelyn. I'm an immigrant from Germany. I came here 30 years ago, and I changed my citizenship in order to become a police officer. Right here in Killeen. Never ever in my entire life would I have thought that I would have emigrated to a country that now is in the same spot where Germany was in 1934. This country was born out of a revolution for freedom. And now, all those veterans that fought in World War II and died for the freedom of this country, it has become almost meaningless because what is going on right now? Trump is literally a Nazi. He is following Hitler's playbook, and we cannot allow this. I'm German, we've seen this before, and it didn't end well. It ended in World War II. I'm a big proponent of Ukraine. Ukraine is doing the same thing that the US did in 1776. It's fighting an oppressor, an illegal invader. And Trump now is following his playbook. I bet he has Mein Kampf on his nightstand because he follows it word by word by word. Since 2016, he's been doing it. Now our guardrails are almost gone and we have to fight. Because if we don't fight now, our democracy will not be around in 2026. And Trump made this clear. He said this will be the last time there will be an election. We cannot allow this. We must stand with Ukraine. So to Senator Carter, I'm saying, why are you lying? You say you support Ukraine. You say you support to give weapons to Ukraine. That they're independent and they have to have our support. But you lie because you stand with Trump and Trump stands with Russia. Russia is our enemy and we cannot divert our focus from that. We must support Ukraine. If Ukraine falls, Europe falls. And guess what? All our military, our own boys and women will be over there again and fighting for freedom that we already had. Thank you. I'm done.
Don said you're right. He does have it on his nightstand. Oh, were you going to say? Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to ask another round of inquiries to useless Representative Carter. Why has every government agency that's investigated Elon Musk and his companies been infiltrated by Doge, people have been fired, removed, data seized illegally? Every single one. So he can continue to run amok. I'd also like to point out, here in Texas, his companies are dumping toxic waste into our lands and our waterways. We didn't vote for him, but good old Greggy gave him the permission. Are you going to stand up for our lands, Carter? No? Okay.
Thank you. Thank you all for giving your testimony. We have this being recorded. We've got your submitted questions as well, and we're gonna, Chris here is planning to go to John Carter's office every Monday. So he will be dropping all of those off to him and letting your voices be heard. All right, so we've spent the last almost 2 hours talking about the real issues, the issues that impact every single person in this district. Healthcare, education, veteran services, voting rights, the economy, and yet John Carter is still missing. But we already know why. His office made it clear where his priorities lie. Recently, Carter's spokesperson said this about our movement. The far-left Indivisible group emerges every time Democrats lose an election to Donald Trump. But the reality is that the people of District 31 elected President Trump and Congressman Carter with a mandate to represent their shared conservative values. Congressman Carter remains focused on supporting Trump's America First agenda in Washington. So that was his response to our town hall. So let's be clear. This is exactly the problem. Carter and his team believe he was elected to serve only one party, only one ideology, only the people who agree with him. But that is not how representation works. Carter is not just the representative for Republicans. He is not just the representative for Donald Trump and Elon Musk. He is supposed to represent all of us, whether we voted for him or not, whether we agree with him or not. That is the job of an elected official, to listen and to serve the entire district, not just one faction of it. That's why we're here today, because this isn't about left or right. It's about right and wrong. and it is wrong for a representative to ignore his constituents. It is wrong to put party loyalty over public service. It is wrong to dismiss the people demanding accountability simply because they don't fit into a partisan narrative. And here's the thing, this does not end today. This is not just about one town hall, one event, or one election. This is about building a movement where our voices cannot be ignored. So what can you do? Make sure you're registered to vote. Go over to the Bell County Democrat table. They can help you register. Get a passport. Call John Carter's office and demand a real town hall. Get involved with organizations like Indivisible Centex and the Bell County Democratic Women that are fighting for democracy and accountability. The biggest threat to politicians like John Carter isn't a protest. It's an engaged and informed electorate, and that's us, and we're not going anywhere. Thank you all for being here today. Stay involved, stay loud, and let's make sure that next time we ask, has John Carter showed up? The answer is yes. We deserve to have our voice heard. So we invite you to stay and chat with your neighbors and members of Indivisible Centex and the Bell County Democratic Women. Stay open-minded, respectful, and listen to everyone's stories. I think you might find that we have more in common than you think. And then I didn't write this down, but Jennifer said something that reminded me. I always tell the members at the end of our calls to take care of yourself as well. Advocacy is really hard, and it takes a lot of mental strength. And if you feel like you want to quit and you want to give up, take a day off or take a couple days off, but don't give up. We cannot give up. We have to keep fighting. So talk to someone that you trust and that you can talk to, and then just take a day off and get back to it, because this is going to be a long, long, long journey. So, but thank you all for being here.
Another good way to resist, especially if you have low energy, it's rough these days. Look up ResistBot. It's a basically automated system you can use on Instagram, text, iMessage, what have you. They'll send letters to your representatives, to Trump, depending on what particular petition you're signing. So look into that. It's a great tool.
Also, callpals.org is a great one too. They help you find your representative and give you a script that you can call. And if anyone wants to come up here and take little selfies or pictures with little Johnny Boy, feel free. Thank you all for coming.
So one more thing, if you are feeling overwhelmed, like a lot of people are, and you want to keep up with all things that are happening legislatively, please show up. There is a table over to the side. There's a little white table, the L&J Ledge Lunch, where Solange does all of the research into all in one place for you to do. Thank you.
It depends on what the issue is. What's going on right now is beyond red or blue. This is, do you support the Constitution or not?